Did you know you can insta-kill any character with the sword? You can even backstab someone with the dagger while hitting them directly in the face. What's up guys, Gravity here bringing you Myth-Busting Monday Season 2, Episode 4, Special Melee Edition. Today's episode, I collabed with YouTuber Oppo, who also made a video revolving around all the melee weapons. I'll have a link below to his video where he covers strategies, stats, combos, and more with every melee weapon. Before we begin, massive shout out to all of my channel members. Like always, these videos take a ton of time and would not be possible if not for you guys. Thank you so much. We got a ton of myths today, so let's get started. Our first myth is from OK Gamer. You can block a direct rocket launcher with the riot shield. As crazy as it sounds, the riot shield actually does fully protect you from an RPG shot. Not an FBI agent has a similar myth. Can the riot shield stop a C4 or any other big explosion? I not only tried this with C4s, but I tested it with an entire nuke. It doesn't matter how many explosives there are, as long as your riot shield blocks the line of sight, it will protect you. Both of these myths are confirmed. The best commenter, confirmed, has the next myth. The Minesweeper effect of the riot shield works with abilities like Dome Shield and Thrown APS. This could have been a nuclear myth, but unfortunately the developers recently removed the Minesweeper effect of the riot shield. I never thought the riot shield was OP or needed this cool mechanic nerfed. For those who aren't aware, the Minesweeper effect used to let you walk right over mines with the riot shield, and in some cases even gobble them right up. Since this is no longer the case, you can imagine the chances of this myth working were next to zero. So to no one's surprise, you can't move or destroy the Dome Shield or APS turret with the riot shield. If anyone has a clip of this working pre-patch, I would love to see it in the Discord, but this myth is busted. Robin says, you can break holes in walls with the sword. I covered this all the way back in episode 2 of Myth-Busting Monday, but just to recap, you can destroy walls with the melee weapons. It just might take a while. ManyBlock says even the quick melee can break a wall, so I wanted to recap this one as well. You actually can't break walls using quick melee. In the footage here, I got my entire team to quick melee during the mega damage event, and we still could not make a single hole in the wall. The original myth, however, is confirmed. You can use the sword to break holes in walls. Lucifer says, sword can damage a shield and an enemy in the same thrust. In the past, you actually could not do this. The game limited you to one target per attack. This is no longer the case on current patch. You can damage multiple shields and a player with one thrust or swing with the sword. This myth is confirmed. User has another myth about the sword. You can get a double kill with the sword dash or with dagger and the dash. This is another one I busted in the past, but since the mechanics of the sword must have been changed, I figured this was worth a shot. Unfortunately, you still cannot hit two players in a single attack with any melee weapon. Personally, I think it would be a really fun mechanic and give melee weapons some extra utility and value, but this myth is still busted. You cannot get a double kill with a single attack from any melee weapon. We got another really cool myth about the sword from user. Riot shield can't block sword charge. The animation for this looks pretty funny. The sword charge just goes right through the shield and damages the enemy. I'm kinda surprised the riot shield doesn't stop the lunge right in its tracks. This myth is confirmed. The riot shield cannot block a sword charge. Elusive Gaming has a really interesting myth. Some emote animations with melee moves can damage the arena. We loaded in with guitars already in hand, and unfortunately, while emoting, we could not deal even the slightest damage to the arena. It would be a super cool little Easter egg if emotes like this did like 10 damage or so, or maybe they do more if you bring the weapon correlated with the emote. Regardless, this myth is busted. You cannot damage the arena using any emotes. The Wholesome Kid says, you can break two walls at the same time with a heavy charged sledgehammer attack. This one actually surprised me quite a bit. If you turn fast enough during the hit animation, you can break two separate walls. I made sure I was breaking two completely separate holes and not just one big hole. This is honestly a super cool mechanic with the sledgehammer. I'm glad to confirm this myth. We got another hammer myth from Ed21. Heavy sledgehammer charge attack can hit players through walls. This is also a sick mechanic that's super easy to pull off. As long as your aim is aligned and the wall is destructible, you can easily damage and kill players through the walls. This myth is confirmed. Mr. Pig says, myth, you can juggle goo with the riot shield. At first this sounds like insanity, but like always, our myth busting has no bounds. Shooting goo at the riot shield causes the goo to deflect away from it. So we tested to see if you could get the goo to deflect back on top of the riot shield for a juggling effect. It took Oppo quite some time to perfect the alignment and angle, but we learned the riot shield actually absorbs the goo if it tries to bounce a second time. I thought this looked absolutely hilarious, but definitely an interesting mechanic. We tried to pull the same thing off with a dome shield and anti-gravity cube with no luck. Let me know in the comments what you think we could possibly do with this one. Because the goo can only bounce a max of a single time, this myth is busted. You cannot juggle goo with a riot shield. Up next, we have another super cool myth about the riot shield from user. You can block shots with the riot shield while inspecting it. The results on this one are insane. At first, I inspected my riot shield while enemies tried to shoot through it. The bullets went right through the riot shield and killed a player on the other side. But we noticed the riot shield was blocking some of the bullets. At first, we thought it had to do with the section of the riot shield, like the top or the sides, but it turns out it's a lot funnier than this. While inspecting the riot shield, we learned the hitbox is as if you're idle with the shield, meaning while inspecting the riot shield, I'm blocking my left side and that's it. We put a nuke and multiple mines beside me while I was inspecting my riot shield. Even though it looks like I'm totally vulnerable, the riot shield protected me and my team behind me. This looks incredibly hilarious, and I'm glad to confirm this myth, you can block shots with the riot shield while inspecting it. We got a nuclear myth from Ali T. You can animation cancel the sword lunge using an emote. Can you do the same thing with the hammer? This is a tech I only recently learned how to do, and it is incredibly overpowered. It allows you to kill people almost twice as fast as you normally would with the sword. I'm gonna teach you guys how to do it. The first thing you need to do is bind your expression key, then make sure you bind a sound to your wheel. That's all you need to pull this off. Just head in game with the sword, and after your sword lunge has hit someone, press your expression key or button and start charging your next lunge. The expression will reset all of the downtime you usually have in between charged attacks. This means you can do 2 charged attacks almost instantly. Now, this isn't quite enough to insta-kill a heavy, but we'll cover that in our next myth. Continuing this myth, I tried the same tech with Heavy's hammer and unfortunately didn't seem to make a difference. The hammer has a lot less downtime than the sword for its charged attack, so trying to cancel it is either not significant or just doesn't work at all for the hammer. Regardless, I'm calling this myth busted. You cannot emote cancel with the hammer. Prickly Pickle says, using quick melee with dagger makes your next attack not play the animation. In the past, I believe he was correct, but on current patch, no matter how many times I tried, I could not cancel the animation for the dagger. I swear this used to be so easy to do by mantling or just attacking at the right moment. However, doing this on the sword is actually incredibly easy and allows for a cool tech called phantom striking. Using a phantom strike, you can take out a full HP heavy almost instantly. It's incredibly strong and looks absolutely nuts. To cancel the animation of your next attack, all you have to do is time your attack to begin right after you land a hit with an attack. So you do a charged attack, once it connects, do a regular swing attack, and after you press the swing key, begin charging your next charged attack. It takes some time to get this down, but once you do, it becomes second nature and becomes a fatal combo